Hey everybody, welcome to James Today, and I'm James. Anyhow, this video is about what it's like to live in Dallas, Texas. And I first moved to Dallas, Texas in 1997. And I'd move out to go work in different places when I had different jobs. But I always came back to Dallas. And I think what I like about Dallas is it's really laid back. To me it's laid back. I mean, it's not like all busy like New York City, and it's it's not like Hollywood out in LA, and it's not cold like Chicago. And let's first talk about the weather. It can get hot, and very hot. Usually maybe at least once up to 105 degrees one day during the summer. But sometimes we have cool summers where the high temperature just gets between 90 and 95. And then there are the hot summers where every day it gets up to 98 to 101, and no rain for 6 weeks, and things start to die by the end of summer. And then I do notice that usually around August 1st, sometime around then, it cools off for a few days, and I don't know why that is, but it's a good relief. And usually I'd say the hottest time, or it seems like the hottest time, is around Labor Day weekend. But usually about the first or second week of September, a strong cold front comes through and really knocks the temperature down. I remember one year, it's every day it was 100 degrees. And then one day a cold front came through, and the next day the high temperature was 80 degrees. And after being at 100 degrees for so long, 80 degrees almost felt cold. And so the winters, there was one winter 2 years ago where it barely got below 32 degrees. But then there was another winter in 1982, and in that winter it was below 32 degrees for about 30 days. And creeks and ponds started to freeze over, and some of the lakes started to freeze over. And they say 1925 was a bad winter, and some of the bigger lakes started to freeze over, and people would drive their cars onto the lake. And in 1980 was the hottest summer that I can remember. And in 1980, every day it got up to 100 degrees for about 40 days. And one of the days it got up to 113, which was the highest temperature in Dallas, Texas, that was recorded in 100 years. Jobs are very good here. The economy was going pretty good here even during the recession of the 2000, 2007, 2008, 2009. And there was even a lot of construction going on during the recession, especially in the north part of town. The north part of town is kind of where things are happening and there's more growth. South Dallas is kind of starting to grow, but on the south side of Dallas is Interstate 20, and along that area it's growing a lot also. And it has a pretty good public transportation system. I prefer to drive, but sometimes it's just more convenient to take the public transportation, especially if you get on Dallas Area Rapid Transit, otherwise called DART. And if you get on one of those trains, you're going as fast or faster than the traffic. There's a lot of people that use the public transportation during rush hours, so plan your trip. But at least during rush hours, the buses run more frequently, the trains run more frequently. Some of the bus lines during rush hour run every 20 minutes. There is one express bus that goes across the north side of Dallas and the suburbs on the north side. When it's not rush hour, some of the buses run every hour and some run every 30 minutes. And so, also try not to ask the bus driver how to get someplace, because they don't always know. There are some transportation hubs where they have a person at an actual desk that'll go onto an actual computer and tell you the quickest way to get to where you're going if you need a lot of help. Otherwise, people are pretty friendly. There's always those that don't want to be friendly and whatever. The gang activity, I wouldn't say is all that bad. There's neighborhoods that aren't the best, but the police pretty much keep on top of most of the crime. But there's always going to be crime wherever you go. Let's see, I talked about weather, more about transportation. The highways are pretty good. You're going to have some road construction because the place is growing, but it's not all jam-packed like New York City or LA, where you don't really have room to put more highways. Dallas-Fort Worth area metroplex is large. It covers 2 full counties plus half of 2 other counties and parts of other counties. If it's pretty much about 80 miles across, east to west, north and south. It might be more like 60 miles, and there's several interstates that come into the area. There's Interstate 20 that runs along the south side of DFW area. Interstate 30 drives through the center part of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And along the north side, there's kind of loops and things. And north and south, you have Interstate 35. And you actually have 2 Interstate 35s. South of Dallas-Fort Worth, it splits so that you have Interstate 35 East that goes through Dallas and an Interstate 30 West that goes through Fort Worth. And then they join up back on the north side of town. So when you're listening to traffic reports, they always make it clear if the traffic problem's on 35E or 35W. There's some tollways, and there's starting to be a lot of express lanes which charge, and they charge more during rush hour, sometimes twice as much. And if there's a traffic jam, the price is going to be about 4 times more. But I love the express lanes because you can get across town quick. You can go like 30 miles in 30 minutes. Rush hour, it might be a little bit slower, but I avoid rush hour as much as I can. And I try to do my shopping in the morning time because there's less people in the morning. Or I'll even go late at night. There's plenty of places open 24 hours. Walmart's open 24 hours, many restaurants. I have a membership at 24 Hour Fitness, so I can go there at midnight or 4:30 a.m. in the morning before work. Let's see. The ethnic people. There's people from all over the world here. There's also neighborhoods of just Hispanics, white people, but yet I'd say the white people, is mixed, and every neighborhood is mixed to some degree. But there'll be shopping plazas that'll have just Asian restaurants and grocery stores, and any type of food you want from around the world, you can find a pretty good restaurant. Socially, I like meetup.com because there's many topics there for whatever you're interested in: music, professional, to meet contacts. If you need mentoring help, Dallas is a great place to come to if you're wanting to start a business. There's plenty of people that are starting businesses that'll help you. If you want to help others, you're going to get help yourself. And I'm an entrepreneur, and I like doing many different things. I sell things on eBay. I thought about selling on Amazon. I like to flip vehicles. In Texas, you can sell 5 vehicles per year without a dealership license. So I buy a vehicle, I drive it, I fix it up, I clean it up, and this is kind of funny. I was watching an old video of Donald Trump and his business advice, and he was talking about, like corporate things and how to get jobs and all that. And in the middle of the video, he stops and he says, "And when you sell your car, wash it. You'll get $200. And that was coming from a billionaire. He wants to save his $200 too. And anyhow, I like to buy vehicles and drive them, and I'm not in a hurry to sell them because I want to make good money. And in Dallas, I sell them for between $500 and $1,000 above market value, and so I can get vehicles like in the country, in rural areas, and buy them cheap, and then bring them to the city and get good vehicles and inexpensive, or I can, pay more money. But I know that, I might at least break even, but I've had times where I bought one vehicle for $750 and sold it for $2,500, and I probably could have sold it for more. I'm kind of housing. If you want a good place to live, like an apartment, you're pretty much going to have to pay at least $800 per month. And if you shop around really hard, I've lived where I have for more than 4 years, and I'm paying $600 per month, and it has all the amenities I like: fireplace, in-unit washer and dryer, ceiling fans, covered parking, security gate. They keep pretty good regarding the landscaping. And this used to be a former condo, so you also get space to grow plants if you want them. Housing prices are pretty good. I'm sure they're better than like New York City. But also, when you buy a house, you get some land. And in Plano, you don't get much space around your home. A very small front and backyard, but if you have money, you can probably get a quarter of an acre or half an acre. And there are, some neighborhoods that are old where you'll get probably a half acre, but those are not going to be cheap. Like I said, Dallas and Fort Worth is spread out, so it's not jam-packed. There's a park just off of downtown Dallas. Let's do recreation now, because I love being outside. Dallas has a lot of nature preserves. The Trinity River runs through Dallas, and part of it runs through Fort Worth. I think it forks off somewhere in the middle, and back years ago it would flood. And so there's a lot of real estate along the Trinity River where it's wilderness. And if you fly into Dallas Fort Worth, you'll basically see part of the city is a forest that's undeveloped. And but just off of downtown in the Trinity River area, they're making a park that'll be about 11 times larger than Central Park in New York City. And you'll be able to take boat rides. Years ago, like more than 100 years ago probably, they tried to use the Trinity River to have barges to go from Dallas all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. But they had difficulty because it would get clogged up with too much debris. That was because of all the trees. Let's talk about landscape a moment. Dallas-Fort Worth is flat. There's a part in South Dallas that's called Mountain Creek. And it's not much of a mountain, but it's the best elevation lift that you're going to see. There's kind of some hills around, and I know there's parts of South Dallas where it's rather hilly, but the farther you get west, the flatter it's going to get. But Interstate 30 goes kind of next to the Mountain Creek mountain thing, and you're up about 100 or 200 feet higher than the regular elevation. The normal flat elevation in Dallas is about 530 feet. So I guess that mountain would be about 700 feet above sea level. Maybe 800 at the very top. But, there's trees here. There's a street called Forest Lane, which used to be an actual forest. And kind of on the northeast side of Dallas, the creeks are very clean. There's a White Rock Creek Park in northeast Dallas that's a nice park. It's large. It has a good size lake in the middle, and the creeks that feed into that, the water's like crystal clear, and it gets filtered from all the rocks that are on the bottom of the creek. And some of the other creeks kind of west of there and all around are more like muddy creeks. Anyhow, let's talk more about recreation. There's plenty of things to do outside, and there's also nightlife, like bars in downtown Dallas and all around. And let's see, airports. There's plenty of airports here. There's the big DFW airport, which is about 6 miles across, and it's kind of like its own city with its own highway that goes down the middle. It has about 3 or 4 hotels at it and its own public transportation system. And the DART, Dallas Area Rapid Transit, hooks up to the airport through a shuttle bus that's takes you from the train at the airport to the actual 6 terminals. And one of the terminals, I believe, is an international terminal. There's Dallas Love Field, which is closer to downtown Dallas. DFW Airport is kind of between Dallas and Fort Worth. Love Field is just north of downtown Dallas, about, I'd say, 7 miles. Addison Airport is on the north side of Dallas in the town of Addison. It's one of the busiest private airports in the United States. In South Dallas, you have the Executive Airport, and Fort Worth has Alliance Airport, and I think at Alliance Airport they do more like aircraft maintenance, but there's also many businesses around there. There's many Fortune 500 companies here in Dallas, and someone was flying into downtown Dallas, into DFW Airport, and I thought this was funny. They said Dallas has a lot of downtowns, and I thought that was funny because there's the actual downtown part of Dallas, but then you have like highway intersections which have kind of turned into their own downtown districts. And there's also in Irving, the suburbs, they have created their own like urban centers. Like in Irving you have Las Colinas, which is cool. The Dallas area rapid transit train goes through there, and they also have like a canal and a lake there. They've made it nice. You have, of course, downtown Fort Worth. Richardson and Plano have a few large buildings. The Dallas North Tollway kind of reminds me of like Dubai. If you've seen pictures of Dubai where there you have the highway and buildings on each side, the Dallas North Tollway is like that as well, with other Fortune 500 companies along there. And there's other like downtown areas around. But because Dallas is so spread out and all the nature preserves, there are a few wild animals in town, but nothing that's really like ferocious. And there are like coyotes and bobcats, but they don't attack people. They try to stay hidden. And they say if you ever see one, you just throw a stick at it or yell at it or something, and they run away. And I've seen one coyote, I've seen a possum, a raccoon, I've seen a small snake, and of course there's birds and squirrels, and I've seen a skunk or two. But mostly the animals, they stay in the places like in the nature preserves or the areas that people don't go. And so you don't see them very often. Anyhow, Dallas is growing. About 1 million people move here every 3 to 5 years. So the schools are growing, business is growing. They're seem to be staying on top of the highway situation. But it's a good place to raise a family, I'd say. It's not like all crazy. You can get out of town quick if you want to go like fishing at a real large lake. There's many large lakes around the area, and plus, if you just want to get out of town on the weekend, Friday people are trying to get out of town, and also Sunday evening people are trying to get back into town, so you kind of have like a little rush hour out on Friday evenings getting out of town, and of course getting back into town on Sunday. But it's, you have a highway going every direction for whichever way you want to get out of town. But I would say, if you're wanting to go someplace on Friday, be sure to plan ahead and try to leave, before rush hour, because if you leave after rush hour, everyone's frustrated. I guess I'll talk a moment about sunlight. In the summer, it gets dark about 9 p.m. Sunrise, it starts to get light about 5:30 a.m. And then wintertime, it's dark by 5:30. And if it's really cloudy, it's going to be pretty dark by 5 p.m. And sunrise in the wintertime, it starts to get light about 7:30. I think I covered most things. If I missed something, well, there's other videos for you to watch. But anyhow, I hope you like and subscribe. And so maybe see you next time. Later.